Today's video is all about the different categories of functions. Now, you might be saying, functions? Ms. Ellis, can you remind me what a function is? Well, a function is just a set of code that is reusable, and it can take in some information, and then using that information, it does something. That's all a function is. So you guys are actually really familiar with many examples of functions: rect, circle, oval, line, regular polygon, label, star, polygon. Those are all examples of functions. RGB, gradient, again, those are all examples of functions. These are actually all examples of the first category of functions that I'm going to talk about, which is called built-in functions. So I'm going to write that here up the top. And I'll see if I can actually make my text here a little bit bigger. Let's change my settings, make that font size nice and big. All right, so the first one is called built-in functions, or standard library functions. That's the more official term. Okay. Built-in functions are sets of code that CS Academy has already defined, created, taught the program what to do whenever we call these functions. So notice that we never had to teach CS Academy how to create a rectangle or create a circle. We just know that, okay, rect takes in some information, some input values like left top width height fill. Same with circle, it takes in center X, center Y, radius, and then fill border. So we know that, so we have a good handle on those kinds of functions, okay? We don't have to teach CS Academy how to do them, how to create a rectangle or create a circle or a regular polygon or a label. We just know that we need to write its name and put in some values. We just write the function call to those functions, okay? So that's the first type. The second type of function is a user-defined function, which means that we made the function, or rather the programmer made the function, okay? Usually with these types of functions, or rather with these types of functions, oftentimes we're writing them because there's something that we want CS Academy to have, or we want our programming language to know how to do, but it by default doesn't know how to do that. So whenever we write user-defined functions, we use the functions that are already built in, and we craft it in such a way so we can teach CS Academy how to do something new using something that it already knows how to do. So for instance, to create this, so I've got my sky here and I've got these bushes here, which will soon be filled with berries. Okay, to teach CS Academy how to make a gooseberry, I use something that it already knows how to do, which is create an oval, okay? Notice that with the user-defined functions, I not only have to call the function, this is what I'm doing in line 11, 12, and 13, I'm calling the function, I'm saying, CS Academy, I want you to make a gooseberry right now, and I want you to use these values for X and Y. Okay, I not only have to call the function like I did with the built-in functions, but I also have to define the function. I have to teach CS Academy how to use that function. Okay, so that's the second type of function. Built-in, which is what CS Academy already knows how to do, we just need to call it. User-defined, which means that I have to call it and define it. And notice that when I run my code, my gooseberries appear, yay! Okay, so that's user-defined. That was the second category of function that we need to be concerned about for Intro to Computer Science. I'm sure there's many more categories that we could break functions down into, but for right now, for what you're doing in this year of computer science, these are the only three categories you really need to be concerned about, okay? All right, the last one here is an event handler function. That's the last category of function that you need to be concerned about. Event handler functions, okay? These are special types of functions where we define them. We have to teach CS Academy what to do when it sees this function or when this function is called, but we never have to explicitly call it like we did with the other ones. We never have to write on mouse press 200, 200, for instance, because this function is going to be called when I press my mouse. The computer will automatically call on mouse press with an X and Y value whenever I press my mouse. So when I run this, I'm going to press my mouse, and look, my berries are appearing, okay? That is one example of an event handler function. Here's another example, on mouse drag, okay? One thing to know about event handler functions is that the name is already chosen for you. You can't really change the name. The name of the function has to be exactly like this with the same capitalization. So when I drag my mouse, look, I've got all these wonderful berries. Or I could do this on mouse release, which creates the berries not when I press. So I'm pressing and nothing has happened, and then I let go, and now my berry appears. Okay, that's an example of on mouse release, and there are many more event handler functions. We'll see them actually here. And if I click, I'll duplicate this tab so I don't lose what I have already. Okay, if I click here in the docs and colors, you'll see that there are more event handler functions. Let's see here. On mouse press, on mouse release, on mouse move, on mouse drag, on key press, on key release, on key hold, on step. These are all the examples of event handler functions. So there's only a small number of them. There's only about 8, okay? So those are the 3 categories of functions that you need to be concerned about. Built-in, which means that we just call them. We don't need to define them. User-defined functions, which we have to define and call, and then event handler functions, which are called whenever the event occurs. So we ourselves don't need to write a function call, but we do need to define that function. Okay, I hope this video helps, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day.